In relationship also to what you were just saying about the forgetting of it being quite deliberate. I think it's Joyce Nyero, one of our favorite quotes from Kenya at 50, her book. She talks about one of the glaring fault lines in Kenya's history isn't the absence of memory, but the institutionalization of amnesia.
Yeah.
As a historian who's studied many phenomena, where would you place the work that has to happen now so that there's active kind of remembering?
Okay, so I think for me, really diversification of different types of intellectual labor, right? So there's a lot about this country that has been written, but it's not accessible, it doesn't belong to us, right? It's in publishers of Western universities, it's in Western-based academic journals, right? Very critical kind of pieces of work that even if you go to the University of Nairobi, you might find a hard time finding. But even that is the result of a deliberate process, especially in the 80s with the Moi government, of just basically stamping onto academia and kicking, great minds out of the country. So again, a very deliberate process. But I think that if you begin to involve artists in this kind of work, if you begin to involve fiction writers in this kind of work, journalists, so not just academics reading about the ills of the country, but I think academics such as myself also have a role to play to begin to have the conversations we usually have amongst ourselves with people doing other kinds of intellectual work. Because intellectual work is not a preserve of academics.
No.
Right? So artists, creatives also do a lot of intellectual labor. It might be a different form, but the concern is the same. They also think about society. They also think about the problems of the world. And it's there in their work. So I think like one way of kind of democratizing, I always use this word, democratizing history, right? Moving away from the history of capital H, is to involve many diverse voices and types of work into thinking about this country's history. And to not forget about very important events such as the PEV, and to continue to make sense of them.